On the day that we lost George Carlin, you were really actually you were clearly broken up about it.
I was bummed because I had procrastinated doing something. He asked me to do something for him, and I just
you didn't do it.
I didn't do it, man.
In time.
Pick up his heart
And I
medication.
swear the weekend.
Pick up my heart medication, please. Drop it off.
The weekend.
I'm sorry. I love you.
I love this guy.
I'm so sorry.
You know, it doesn't matter what kind of heartaches
could you put a new battery in my defibrillator, my home defibrillator for me? Thanks, Greg. I know I can count on you, buddy.
Plug in my Roomba while you're there.
The great thing about Spike is they say tragedy plus time equals funny, but Spike takes out the middleman.
I
go right to the point.
So, what did he ask you to do?
He said, "Will you make a tape of yourself doing impressions for me?" He said, and he goes into detail about it. That it's his birthday.
Is this on the message machine?
Yeah, he goes into well. First, he goes off on this thing we had talked about. He was a big fan of a guy that I lived with in New York, Mitch Hedberg, and he starts off ranting about Mitch and a bunch of other guys.
Okay, and this is your message, and you. It's so cool that you're that kind of a fan. Spike's like that. You guys have that in common. Spike tried to meet Bruce Springsteen. You should hear that story.
Really?
Yeah, we've heard it enough. He'll tell you.
I'll tell you over
he literally
over a long retreat.
He
weekend.
literally like a stalker backstage is trying to meet. Have a lean pocket
with plastic shards.
Nice.
So,
nice.
All right. On this message, George Carlin is calling you, asking you for a favor. He did swear a little. We bleeped that. And
right from the opening of the message.
I think you'll like how he handled the phone number. Here we go.
Hey, you big goofy This is George Carlin calling you back late as usual. You had called me and you mentioned Hedberg, I think, in your message to Ginger or whatever. Yeah, what a bad scene. All the ones that are out on the edge somewhere, you know, they all kind of go away young for some reason. The ones that have a little kind of really different approach, you know. Hedberg is an example of that. Kinison, who you know very well, and Lenny Bruce can be included. He was only in his late 40s or something like that. Andy Kaufman, John Belushi was of that type. Freddie Prinze, and there's more. I can't think of them. I have a handful more, but they're the ones that are sort of like out there exploring the thing you and I do. They kind of sometimes, something them off. I don't know what it is. Anyway, listen here, mother. I'll give you my home number. It's 310. Yeah, I know you'll keep it real quiet and everything. 008 310-4306. Not always here, of course, just like you. You can leave a message. I may get it, I may not. Later, you know, it can be delayed, but I'll always get back to you sooner or later. I wish you had the time and the inclination to sit down with a tape recorder that is just a cassette recorder and do a bunch of impressions for me. I'm trying to collect a lot of impressions because, as you know, it's easier to do one if you hear someone else do it. And I just like them as a hobby. It's kind of like something I can do, or if I want to, and I don't use it on my act. So if you want to do a Pacino, or this guy or that guy, I saw you on the Queens, the King of Queens, or whatever that show was, where you were delivery guy. That was great. I think I might have even told you I saw you. Anyway, take care of yourself. Give me a call and make me a tape one of these days. Sit down when you think about it, just with a little tape recorder, a little simple one, a little handheld, and make me a tape with just a bunch of the people you do. Do a minute of each guy. I'd love it. It would be a great gift to me. Thanks, man. Today's my birthday, so make it a birthday gift. See ya. Bye-bye.
Wow. I heard Tim Russert asked you to make a tape, too. Is that true?
It's good to be back here with you guys. It's good to be back with you guys.
Listen, Gillis.
See, now I don't feel that bad if I tell you the rest of the Tommy Lee Rose story, because what happened was this church choir shows up in the middle of this, what we're about to do a roast, and now they've asked the church choir to stick around for the roast of this TV show that Tommy Lee is trying to show everybody how to recycle. So I grab a producer and I said, is the choir actually going to stand behind me when I do my material? And he said, yeah. And I go, do you know what I'm going to say? And he said, this choir is really cool. And I go, do you know what I'm going to say? And he said, this choir is really cool. I go, all right. So we go out there to do the roast of Tommy Lee, and the church choir.
That gives you a little edge of extra nervousness now.
Absolutely.
It's like having your mom watch you at a strip club or something.
Absolutely. And I'm hoping.
How about that, Mom. Where you boy now? Huh? Couldn't fit that in the kitchen sink to give you a bath, could you? Love you, Mom.
Hey, Mom, can you give me a shoehorn and some butter spray? But so I go out there, and Paul Rodriguez goes up first, and all he's doing is Mexican jokes, and the choir is already getting on edge. There's a blind woman in the choir looking around very uncomfortably, like, what is happening here? And then I go up, the next guy goes up. He doesn't curse. His name's Joe Bartnick, but he's very edgy, and the choir's getting more uncomfortable. And they go, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your last roaster for the evening, Craig Gass. And I get up, and as I'm walking to the podium, I'm looking at the choir, and I'm calling an audible in my head. Sometimes when you're doing a live show, you see the show's going a certain way, and so you change up how you're going to do everything to try to get the crowd back. And my idea was, I'm going to acknowledge this choir, and that way I'll make them part of the show, and if I'm looking them in the face, they won't think I'm threatening. And that's how I'll do my jokes, is I'll acknowledge them during my jokes. So I get up there, and I go, Tommy Lee, it's an honor to be here, Tommy. Tommy's here to show us how to make the earth greener, which is appropriate since you've got a tree trunk in your pants. Can I get an amen? And the choir went, amen. And I go, Tommy, you have no fear at all. Even when you were behind bars, you had no fear. I mean, it's one thing to be threatened with 8 to 10 in prison. It's another to be threatened with 8 to 10 in the seat. Can I get an amen? And the church choir went, oh my God. And I went, close enough. And the last line I said, I can't even repeat on the air. I'll repeat it tonight at Giggles, but the last line I said made the director go, cut! Hey! And he came running over to me and said, he goes, all right, Craig, I know you can't see them because they're standing behind you, but the choir is freaking out. I go, well, I told you they were. And he said, I know. Listen, is there any way we can put a cute ending on this? And I go, I don't have anything cute. What do you mean? This is a roast. So what they're going to show on this roast of Tommy Lee at the end of the summer is it's going to go from, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Craig Gass, to censored, to a genuine moment. They kept rolling while they were trying to figure out what to do. I turned around, looked at the choir, and said, hey, man, I'm a good person, okay?
Pray for me.
I love pleasure always to see you. Come to town more often. I know you're mostly out of New York.